If the goal is to end exploitation, inequality, and poverty, why is everything getting worse? Welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. This is where we debrief pop culture, internet culture, and politics from an independent perspective. And if that interests you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And let's get into today's video, shall we? So we're going to be comparing and seeing is Canada taking the next 8 steps of Marxism? Where are we seeing Canada kind of lean? Why are people so paranoid that communism is going to be coming to Canada? I would say more of a globalist thing is going to happen, in my opinion. I think this is going to be, I think, judging by the people that Trump works with, I think this is going to be that final boss if we don't actually stand up and put our foots down. Okay, this is going to look like AI takeover, technocracy takeover, digital ID, stuff like that. I truly think that it's not just Canada. I think that a lot of different countries are headed that way, especially with all of the insane censorship that we are seeing. Okay, but I digress. Let's look at number 1, which is revolution. Overthrow the capitalist state, often violently. Who's violent? Who's violent in today's age? I understand that throughout history, humans have been violent. But when we look at where we want to be in a Western world, and it does not often include trying to eliminate the other opponent, right? Now, I don't know what that all was, but the amount of people, whether that was real or not, whether it was staged or not, I think it was real. It would be pretty hard to stage, in my opinion. But I will say, like, nothing looks wrong with his ear in the slightest, but whatever. I digress. Even if that situation was real, the amount of people that cheered it on, guys, it's so concerning to me how many people on the left in America all of a sudden believe in Pizzagate, believe there's an elitist pedophile running, a group running the whole world. It's funny how you guys go back and forth and watching the dichotomy of the left interacting with the left in Canada versus America, because the left in Canada has to stand up for all of the measures that they're against Trump for in America. But it's MarkCarney. But it's funny to see how many people in America on the right can call Trump out and admit when he's doing something wrong, but on the left, they have no capability of doing that, which is why it scares the crap out of me, okay? Dictatorship or proletariat. A transitional government controlled by a single party claiming to represent the workers. I don't know. I think it's very strange that we spent millions of dollars to figure out how to brainwash Canadians into voting Liberal after Liberals have ruined our lives for 10 years. I don't know if you know this, but another Liberal won the Canadian election because nonstop coverage of how Trump is going to take over Canada and MarkCarney is the guy to make the deal with Trump. Well, it's the middle of August and we still don't have a deal, and we're one of the only countries, if not the only country, that doesn't have a deal. Very, very strange. Nationalization of major banks, transport, and media. Yeah. Who owns our media? Who's funded? I don't know in what world guys, I don't get funding, okay, because that's how it should be. In what world do these people, should these people not be relying on commercials, ads, all of the things that we all have to rely on? Why do they get all of this funding? Why would they ever think that's okay? Like I've said before, the standard code of ethics is completely out the door, and it has dismantled every single social service that we could ever imagine working again. Until we go back to using the standard code of ethics instead of DEI, we are going to be in the same mess forever. Collectivization of agriculture, merging smaller farms into large state-controlled or cooperative farms. That's already been happening in America and Canada for so long. If there's anything I have learned in my vegan ventures, okay, it is that they have made so many farmers in Canada and America, they make it impossible basically for them to make money. They do silly things like you can't use your own seeds if you're a farmer. You cannot harvest the seeds from your plants the year before. They're patented and you have to buy them. And in the States, it's incredibly hard to like have an organic farm. And in Canada, it might be a bit easier because I do know some of my farms do have like grants and stuff, but I don't think they can take that relationship farther than you think. Like they can't even sell to our local grocery store. They have their own store. Any grocery store. Actually, I have no idea how it works. All I know is that dairy has some sort of oligarchy chokehold. You go to Quebec, you know what I'm talking about. And while I think regulations are good, because I do think there's lots of companies out there who want to harm us, okay? I have a hard time defining who gets to regulate things because, like I said before, regulation of, if you've seen all of these rides all across the countries and places break, it's because they don't have federal regulations. Not even America has federal regulations on things like coasters. And if you don't think that there won't be capitalists who push the limit and purposefully do things, you guys need to look into the 2016 Schlitterbahn water park incident. I know it's a bit of a tangent, but they built the biggest, tallest water slide in the world. They just did it to break records. And a boy ended up being decapitated. Because they knew that every time somebody was going over the second hill, that people were flying out of it. So they put a net up there, a metal net, and his head got caught on the metal net. Yeah. I know that's descriptive, but those are the sorts of things that will happen. It's wild because I'm pretty sure it was accounts. If you look at in America, like there's a lot more things going on in America with even those trampoline parks. You've seen that Ian Carroll covered that they know that all of these trampoline parks are not up to code and standard, and they still are allowing kids to go on these things and having their neck break and stuff. And it just happens because nobody's allowed to talk about it because there's like this weird chokehold on everything by these elite people who literally own everything and stomp on anybody who even gets remotely successful that isn't part of this group. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's just bigger than just Canada. But I think that Canada is obviously taking the steps to get there, which is, I just went off on a tangent. But the next one is central economic planning, production quotas, 5-year plans, and a resource allocation by the state. So does that mean things like giving money to these green initiatives, embezzling our money? Seems like we're already there. Seems like we continuously keep bailing out. I understand. I understand the concept of helping a business so that Canadians don't lose their job. Fine. What I don't understand is not just cutting taxes. It's almost, and I'm not somebody who doesn't believe in businesses paying taxes. I do, but why so much? Why so much? Genuinely, why do you guys continue? Why does the Liberal government of Canada continue to literally rake Canadians over the coals? Why? Oh, because we're supposed to own nothing and be happy. Oh, okay. And I will say also that I think the central economic planning looks a lot like the 15-minute smart villages, if you will. Yeah. So that's what I think that is. Next one is my personal biggest my personal biggest, whoa, something's wrong entirely, this suppression of the opposition. I would say their ability to not only dismantle our society, but even our communities, our personal relationships with politics, has been a gift to them. We're stronger together. They know that. There's definitely a lot of people right now who think people who voted for Trump are horrible people. They don't even deserve human rights, all of these different things, which is like, you are for fascism just as long as it's the people you agree with, by the way. If that's the way that you think, no. Okay. Next one says, censoring dissent. Hello. That would be me. I personally, I'm uploading a video this weekend about the Emily Kaiser situation because it is very concerning to me how many people do not know water safety and have parasocial relationships and judge people, whether neglect is bad if their house is nice. But I digress. That's for another video. We will see how good that video does. I have videos even about Brett Cooper. My main viewed videos are like about Brett Cooper, and even those go farther than my specific government videos here. So I've also been deleted at 13K on TikTok. So, and I'm just one person. That's because every time I talk in code because I don't want it. And then I just started getting so mad. And I got reported over and over and over again because I was so done with people telling me that what happened to us during the Panini Press was not coercive, breaking bodily autonomy. Like, they don't care. They think that what happened to us then was for the greater good. I'm not kidding. They cannot admit that they were wrong, okay? But I went to school for this. My teacher specifically said to me, if you want to open up the debate of any bodily autonomy subject, don't be surprised when the pro-choice and pro-life debate gets brought up. If you want to force people to do something with their bodies, like take a medication like that, and they quite frankly sat us down and told us that, like, this is not, you cannot coerce people to take something. No medicine is one size fits all. If you believe it is, that's not scientific, okay? It was right before the ideologies took over and we were actually using common sense and good ethics, and things weren't perfect, but with that framework, they could get a lot better. But we chose to go in a nosedive all the way to the ground. This is often through secret police. Oh, like those people on all of the left-leaning TikToks who spy on all of us. Oh, the ones that have a group chat that send all of our videos to each other, and then they send their little gaggle of people after us. The amount of I've been told to myself so many times by the left who scream for mental health. It's wild to me that they cannot see that they are begging from empathy from people that they could really care less if they live or go away. They could even care less if your kids who don't have a say in how you vote, if they too, as we've seen in Texas, okay? Which, by the way, does scare people away. A lot of people start speaking out and then they stop because of these people and their attacks. The amount of, they just don't know that I'm low-key sick in the head and I've had to like thrive off of hate my whole life. My whole life has been about proving people wrong. So you guys gave a lot of hate to one smart cookie, okay? You gave a lot of hate. I always say this. When I was on the phone with public health and they told me they were watching me because I was part of like the first breakout out of school, I was like, you just told the wrong person that. You just told the wrong person that, okay? I was on the left and I still was like, you just told the wrong person that, because now I don't trust any of this. The way you guys are treating us is inhumane. This is silliness. And that was when I started really seeing things for what they were. Anyways, expansion of socialist ideology, mass education, propaganda, and cultural reshaping. Oh, DEI. The idea that we are inherently something because of our skin color, colonizers, that we're violent, all of these different things because of our skin color. I said this in a video on TikTok yesterday. I should not have to explain to you guys that I'm not racist. And it actually should be a good thing that these people, when someone says to me in my comments, because somebody comments is saying, coming from a white girl with all this privilege, okay, and it was someone who was black, and like literally I was just like, we're not doing this anymore. We don't believe we're racist if we're not. And in my mind, I'm literally like, and you're lucky that we're not. You're lucky that I'm saying I'm not racist. And what world is me saying I'm not racist? That's silly for you to think that about me because of my skin color. And if you can't see the irony, I don't know how to help you. But what world is saying I'm not racist controversial? This one, where we've convinced people that they are racist from birth. Do you know how much that creates little racists? Why would you guys keep telling kids right from, you know, like elementary school that they are racist? Why? It really hit home for me how much the education system was doing, because my kids have been raised around gay people their whole lives. And one day my little child, she was tiny, comes home and asks me, Mom, why do people hate gay people for being gay? We learned about homophobia in school today. My daughter's brain couldn't grasp that. What don't you get? You're creating all of these social justice warriors and giving them all of this language. They literally teach them the word to dismantle homophobia. You're literally giving them bullets for a pew-pew, okay? You're giving kids the words to make fun of other kids for. I didn't know the word fag in the 6th grade, and my daughter's called that. Why? Probably because they were taught, or they're chronically online because people don't watch their watch their children anymore. But the amount of damage they've done, like putting white children in a parade and making them wear a certain color so they're identified as a colonizer. What is wrong with people? How can you think that's okay? You guys, I said this even when I was on the left. You guys are giving a reason for people, white people, to say that they are oppressed for a certain amount of time, that they're facing racism, because we are. We are. The amount of people who think it's okay to say to white people, oh my gosh. I was somebody who thought, oh, reverse racism isn't real. It's just racism, and it's very real, and it's very scary. The amount of people that hate each other in the Western world right now, when we all used to be a giant melting pot, very concerning. And the last one says gradual withering away of the state, which never really happens under communist regime. And for this last part, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. But to me, that's exactly why I don't believe in socialism anymore. But I also believe that whatever Canada was before Trudeau was in was dang near 80% good. I would say, if not 90. I know, because I've been a single mom during Harper. I was in school as a person with disabilities during Harper. People seem to not think that people with disabilities couldn't get jobs before DEI, but that really was not the case. Okay, actually it was really perfect, because nobody could ask my disability and not get an extra $10,000 a year for pity hiring me. The only thing you could pity hire before was people who went to jail, and I understand taking that risk. Like, I worked at Goodwill, and they got supplemented some of they hired people who were in jail. It was good. I understand getting money for it, because felons, you know. We had straight up like gang members and stuff walking around Goodwill at night cleaning. So yeah, it was great. Anyways, like I said, gradual withering away of the state never really happens. That's exactly why I kind of snapped out of the socialist mindset, because I realized none of these people are actually even taking the sea change initiatives that they want us to take. And if our world was actually saying and doing what they said it was saying and doing, you would probably be taking it just as serious as us. And when you've invented things like, I don't know, Zoom, whatever, teams, whatever you guys invented, there's no reason you guys need to go to all of these things and mingle, and you could just, buzz in. No, you don't have to go a million places. That's what I don't understand. I'm not saying all the time, but if you're sitting here putting us into poverty to save the planet, you better be doing your dang well best to do so too. You want us to do everything online. Like, okay, you too. God. And I realized they're just never going to give up power. This is never just going to eventually get handed over to the people. That's not going to happen. And with capitalism, you get to decide, oh, I don't like shopping at this grocery store, I'm going to go to another one. And then there's 7 more because I get to choose. And then the best grocery store that has the best service, best prices, ends up being on top. Now we have to choose from 4 because we literally live in an oligarchy where we have to choose 1 out of 2 people for our cell phone bills, internet bills. We have 4 grocery stores to choose from, and their prices are insane at all of them. And if you have a grocery store in your area that is not either Compliments, PC, Walmart, what's the other one? I don't remember. Maybe even 3. Giant Tiger. Giant Tiger sold out too. They are owned by a Canadian, but their prices are so incredibly high. And I'm like, I cannot justify this price from Giant Tiger, okay? It sucks. We only have one option for hydro. Why should the state be able to control every single thing? I thought to me, it doesn't make sense because the left are okay with it when it happens with their side. But when conservatives do it, they're helping big oil. They're working with big oil. I am so scared. Why is this any different than Big Green? Well, I don't understand. I genuinely do not understand. And the more that we keep doing this, rather than just like cutting taxes, and I mean doing this as in working and bailing out companies over and over again, the more that this federal government's going to own. And you know what? I'll just say this, okay? I don't want to move to China. I understand the pros and the cons of that, okay? But Canada is under this weird thing where nothing works. At least in China, they know to use natural medicine and Western medicine. At least in China, if you're a good person, you're fucking rewarded. Like, I am not saying that I want to live under any communist regime, but what version of crap Canada and crap communism, socialism did we get where our country is literally being torn apart at the seams? I think that Canada's just under some weird experiment. Sometimes, how much can we do? How much can we put people through before they lose their dang minds? I want to know. Did you know that the other day, people went to go to a concert at Budweiser Stage, I think that's what it's called in Toronto, to see Lil Wayne? They let them in, buy merch, all of these things. Like half an hour before the show, they canceled. It's from Dollarama. What? If that was me, I would lose my mind if I spent money going to some sort of concert for them to pull that crap. But that is like what I'm talking about. Why is every single place that we turn continuously screwing us over? I would be livid. I'm sorry. In what world would it ever be okay for that to be legal? For you guys to be allowed to cancel a show last minute, get all of people's money, get them at the venue. Why do we not have even like common decency for people like you and I anymore? The standard code of conduct is completely changed. There is nothing protecting us anymore. We constantly have to buy new things. They want us to protect the environment and at the same time continuously make everything that we buy, like these phones, as I'm talking to you and my phone's heating up and probably going to explode. They make these crap things while preaching to us that we're responsible for all of the consumerism. we are a family that keeps all of our things until we can no longer use them anymore because we are a young family and we've just had to do that. I got a smart TV. No, I don't want to replace my crap. That's not me. I don't want to replace the shoes that I bought 4 years ago that were almost $170 and the backs of them are worn down and my feet bleed. Nothing is made the way it used to. I can't make shoes. I can make the food that they have replaced with some garbage food. Like even our processed food, which by the way has always been better quality than America, gone out the window, completely gone. Everything, our cars, our clothes, our shoes, everything we buy for our children. Last 2 seconds, I bought a My Chemical Romance sweater for my daughter at Hot Topic this year for Christmas. Tell me why the zipper's already broken. And she's like, well, I do wear it every day. I wore my My Chemical Romance sweater every single day for 4 years. And not once did it screw up before my drunken friend lost it. Not once. Why? Because it was like a steel one. She has some crap plastic one and it's 10 times more the cost. I hate it here. Okay. Anyways, you guys tell me, do you guys think we're heading into communism? Do you think this looks like socialism? What parts do you think doesn't look like socialism? What parts do you think do look like socialism? And my final and next part is how they've implemented these things to defeat poverty, inequality, and whatever I said, and how they've made things significantly worse. Like, just out the window. I'm going to go over harm reduction. What harm reduction looks like in places it works, what it looks like in Canada. If we don't think this is deliberate, I don't know what to tell you. You guys have a great day. Oh, I'm exhausted. Are you? I'm going to go out to the garden. You guys also tell me, and all of the things that I told you to tell me, what you guys are doing to keep yourself sane in this psychotic country. Bye, guys.